Good evening, everyone. My name is Wendy Victoria Blackman. Very British name. I was born on the tiny island of Barbados. I was partially educated in Barbados and partially in London, and I immigrated here to the United States in 1976. I am a nurse by profession. I work in a neuro ICU in Edison, New Jersey. Visiting with me is my sister. She's a teacher. She was also educated in England. And now, the story I have to tell you is when I came to the United States, we were educated under the British system, which is a little bit different to the United States. So, I came here in 1976. My son was born in 1984. And I tried to choose a town to live in that was, to me, I never have any issue with color. I can live anywhere. So the town I went to happened to be South Plainfield. It's called a blue-collar town. I didn't even know what that meant initially. I hear all these names that are attached to things. So I said, okay, it's a blue-collar town, and then came to find out that means it has a lot of mom-and-pop stores and everything in the town is owned by the people there, which is fine. So my son is going to school. He's in second grade, and I'm working a night shift at the hospital because then I can be home to take him home from school and to take him to his activities. So he comes home this evening on the school bus about 3:30, and he says, "Hey, Mom, I was a special boy in school today." I was like, okay. This is partly in South Plainfield, and I guess in many other towns, second grade kids are taken to the local town hall, the police department, the library. They're shown around their town. So my son, there were 2 second grade classes. There were 3 black children in the 2 classes. One was rather light like my sister, and was a little girl, and my son. And all of us, I have to tell you, families came from very professional families. So, you know, you get the picture. And when he said that to me, I was like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Wow, Mom, today when we went to the police department and the town hall, they pulled me out. They put handcuffs on my hand and put me in jail." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, they asked for volunteers and nobody volunteered and the policeman chose me." I was like, okay. I didn't make any comment. I didn't know what to say. I was dumbfounded. So when I went to work that night, I said to my white co-workers, told them the story. Their reply to me was, "Would you have been upset if it was a white child?" So I thought about it, and I said, you know what? In my mind, no child should be put in handcuffs and put in a jail. A real jail on real handcuffs. So I calmed down a little bit, because if I had gone over there, I would have ripped somebody's throat out. So I went a couple days later to the principal in a school, elementary school, and I told him my concerns. He was like, "Well, you know what? I didn't do it, or any of the teachers here didn't do it, so I guess you'll have to go to the police department." I guess he figured I was going to just let it drop. I said, okay. So I tripped on down to the police department, and I said to them, you know, there was a school class here, yada, 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 and I'm very upset that you put handcuffs on my son and you put him in jail. I said, what kind of message are you sending? I said, yeah, I know the message you're sending, because I'm sure lots of those other white kids went home and told their parents that Michael Tudor, my son's name, was put in handcuffs and put in jail. And I'm sure, maybe not all of them, but some of them might have said to their children at that time, 7-year-olds, you know what? That's probably what's expected of him when he grows up anyway. And that was how I felt, that this would be response. And I came to find out that there were kids in his class who called him the big N-word at 7 years old. So I don't think I was terribly off point in thinking that way. Anyway, I said to the police officer who was there, I said, you know what? You're lucky I came down here 2 weeks after the event, because you would have probably put me in jail. I says, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys from now on, you should not put handcuffs on any child and put any child in jail to experience that at 7 years old. I said, it is totally wrong, especially when you ask for volunteers, and there were parents here, and nobody volunteered. I said, you should never, never do that. I am proud to say, I think that since that happened, and the school, I mean, they still do this when the 7-year-old, the second graders, they no longer do that experiment or whatever they want to call it. And I have to tell you that my son did grow up. He's been on to college. He completed his bachelor's. He's becoming an accomplished artist today, a professional artist. He's an adjunct professor at Mercer County College, and he has his own business where he does a lot of graphic design. He's very, very talented in that area. I'm a member of St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Plainfield, New Jersey. I'm a member of the Anti-Racism Commission in the Diocese of New Jersey. Anybody have any questions? That's the end of my presentation. Woo!